Is this the first Pinless McFarlane Toys figure? Hey, what's happening, YouTubers? We're back with a brand new action figure review, and today we're taking a look at new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Mr. Freeze.
This man cometh.
And I just picked this up recently at my local Second and Charles, and I was happy to see it there because I had this on pre-order on Amazon.com, and it literally kept getting pushed back every time there was a date made. It got pushed back when it got closer to that date. I guess I know how Mezco collectors feel now. But anyways, like we always do with our reviews, let's get started with the box art first. So it's your standard McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse box. On the side it says DC Multiverse on the top, Mr. Freeze, and on the bottom, Victor Fries. No, I'm kidding. I know it's Freeze. At the bottom, you see the McFarlane Toys logo, and on the back is a nice image artwork of Mr. Freeze. What's funny is the comic book artwork of Mr. Freeze looks nothing like what the figure is, but it's okay. I'm happy with this look. All right, enough about the box. Let's go get Mr. Freeze out of the box. All right, here's Mr. Freeze out of the box. Let's take a look at his accessories first. So just like all McFarlane Toys figures, he comes with DC base plate. Ha, thought I was going to throw it. Not today. Nah, screw it. Let's hit him. So Mr. Freeze does come with one weapon accessory, and this is interesting. And the reason why I say that, for those of you who might not know, back in 2021, DC did have a no gun policy with their merchandise. So that's why you'll never see a Funko Pop or action figure with the character holding a gun. But they were able to make the freeze gun, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know how they were able to get past that. I guess because it's not technically a gun, it's a freeze machine, I guess. And you might have already seen some reviews that this effect piece comes off, but I think it's not meant to. I think it's just the glue, the adhesive came loose. I'm going to keep this like freeze blast on there for now. Then at some point I probably will heat it up and take it out. But I do like that they were able to give us his freeze gun. I do like the sculpting work of it. It looks pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see them actually make the freeze gun. Just like all DC figures in McFarlane Toys line, he comes with a data file card. Here's the image of Mr. Freeze that we saw in the box. And then on the back is a data file. Feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. All right, now let's take a look at the figure itself. And we'd start with the head sculpt first. And I'm going to pop off his helmet. And the cool thing about the helmet that you can pop off is if you're ever wondering which side goes where, it is slanted at a mark so you know which side it goes on. And it has this little cut piece right there that will match up with his suit. But when taking a look at the head sculpt, I think it's a pretty damn good Mr. Freeze head sculpt. I do like the sculpting work of like his jawline. Like you can see like the fine details and sculpting of his head. And then if I turn it to the side, like you can see the shading, the portrait side, like you can see the different sculpting work on his face. I think it looks really cool. The sculpting work of the glasses looks cool as well. So overall, a good job on McFarlane Toys. Like, man, like such an intricate detail. You can see the little strap or whatever the thing is. It's supposed to hold his goggles on there. Overall, fantastic work. And when taking a look at the rest of the figure, that same attention to detail and the sculpting work is nice throughout the whole suit. The only thing I will say is I kind of wish the colors would have matched up better in the armor. You see it's kind of like a light bluish tone right here on the chest and the shoulder pads and then on the belt. But then it's a different shade of white on his legs and even like the rim of his boots right here. I kind of wish they would have had a consistent color throughout. And when taking a look at the sculpting work of the arms, is this the first Pinless McFarlane Toys figure? Not quite. The reason why I say that is because I want to bring in the Warhammer figure, the Gene Stealer. He does sort of have pinless joints, but when I first looked at it, though, it looks like what they did was the pins are there. They just hit it with the sculpting work of his arms. So, I mean, for the untrained eye, this might look pinless, but this Mr. Freeze is technically the first pinless DC Multiverse figure we've gotten from McFarlane Toys, and I think that's pretty cool. And I think that's pretty cool. He was the first one to get that kind of treatment. Hopefully going forward we see more of that, but you can definitely see the sculpting work and the way it's engineered inside is different than what we normally see with their figures. And continuing on with the sculpting work, you can see like his oxygen tank right here. It kind of reminds me of Bane, but I love how it's connected to the front of his suit. But just overall happy with the overall aesthetics. Again, nitpicking though, I just wish the color would have stayed consistent throughout. Not going to dive too much into articulation, but standard McFarlane Toys 22 moving parts, so his head can move side to side, and it can even look down. Geez, quite a lot. Looks like he's freaking hiding. Can look up actually a solid amount, which isn't bad. Now, keep in mind when you're putting in the helmet, can't really look up much, but you can still move his head and turn it side to side. So you're just a little bit limited what you can do when the helmet's on there, and plus you'd want to pose him with the helmet on there because he's Mr. Freeze. Anyways, he does have the faux butterfly joint or like little disc in there for the shoulders, and so there's a shoulder joint, and there is bicep swivel. And again, just like we've run into before with some of the figures, the shoulder pad is sculpted on the bicep swivel. There has to be a better way to engineer it and sculpt it on like the actual shoulder instead of having it on the swivel, because you'll find over time it will fall off or just wear off with the adhesive. He does have double jointed pinless elbows, which get a nice range. That's not bad. So again, that's still surreal to see pinless technology on McFarlane toys. It's pretty cool. Now he does have the ball joint at the wrist, which isn't too bad for me just because, it's still hidden with the glove, but it is a ball joint at the wrist, so you can move it all around and front and back. He does have a diaphragm cut, and when I was messing around with it, it's probably one of the better ones that we've seen from McFarlane toys. So he gets a nice range going forward, going back. He can get a shit ton of range. And then he has the ball joint at the hip, which can help the crunch even more. So not bad for Mr. Freeze. Now, because Mr. Freeze has the diaper piece like we've seen with all McFarlane toys figures, allows him to kick up like a New York City Rockette. He has double jointed knees, and the sculpting work on here looks great. Doesn't look too bad with the cut. And I don't think this is by design. I don't think this is a boot cut or a boot swivel. I think it's just a plastic being able to move around there, because I don't think that was meant to be an articulation point, but you can move it. And also they have a ball joint at the ankle, so you can move it front to back, but it is limited because of the boot piece right here. There's some ankle pivot, and then of course toe articulation. Now I'm just going to jump right into size comparisons. And for a size comparison, here's Mr. Freeze sitting next to some more DC Multiverse figures from McFarlane Toys in Batman's Rogue Gallery. On the left, we have the DC Rebirth Deathstroke, and on the right, we have the Joker the Comedian. And next size comparison, here's Mr. Freeze sitting next to some Batman figures from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. We have the Batman 3 Joker's Batman on the left, and on the right, we have the Gladiator Batman, which to me is still my favorite figure from McFarlane Toys this year until something tops it. Probably going to be that Nightfall Batman. Last size comparison, just because I'm going to keep harping on it, since you will not see this in the big screen in live action anymore, you will see this in my reviews. Here he is standing next to the Black Adam movie figure with a custom cloak and the Superman Snyder Cut Justice League Target exclusive. Here's just a random comparison, even though they have nothing to do with each other. I just thought stylistically and sculpting work, they kind of look similar with their suits, and well, they're both bald. But here he is standing next to the Power Suit Lex Luthor from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. I never realized it till now, but this would make a great Professor Xavier head sculpt. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, so overall thoughts on the figure is, it's really good. Anytime we can add a character in Batman's Rogue Gallery that we haven't yet gotten is good, in my opinion. And also the pinless technology and pinless engineering on the elbows. I'm hoping it's signs for things to come in the line that we get more figures like that, because that's pretty cool that Mr. Freeze got that treatment. My only drawbacks would be the inconsistency in the color of the armor. Now, that might be true or accurate to comic book source material, but overall aesthetics, I think it would have been better if it was more uniformed. Another thing is, I don't want to keep harping on it, but scaling and proportion. He does have the long leg syndrome, but again, I can look past it because the overall aesthetics look really nice. But let me know what you think in the comments below. YouTubers, are you going to be picking this up? What do you think about this being the first pinless, double-jointed elbows we've gotten from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line? Let me know in the comments below. And like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.